I'm going to hit go live.
Do it.
Going live. We are live.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first Formula 1 2022 car reveal. It's the Haas. It's on screen right now. An advert just started playing.
Different.
My apologies. Look how different that Haas is.
The front view, are you on the front view at the moment?
I am
indeed. The
indeed.
front view is definitely the one that looks different. Look at the side view. The side view I sent to you when we were like getting ready for this, and you genuinely didn't even know it. You thought it was because F1 keeps sharing the 2022 cars with a 2021 livery. I mean, this looks very similar to that. There's not much different, is there?
So yeah, the side-on view, I genuinely thought potentially could have been a 2021 car. Apart from the rear wing, as you can see, it's a lot more pointing into the air for where they're going to be pushing the airflow up rather than into the next car. But I think this one here is definitely the most striking. The one where you see it from the front to the back, and obviously
the top view are very similar. But yeah, the front one is the one that you can kind of tell that's like the new front wing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you can see that the chonkier tyres. You can see the wheel winglets and things like that. Covers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've got no memes yet, which is a shame. They look very bog standard from the side-on view. Let me turn. Oh, apparently you're really low, so let me turn you up, and then we'll get your thoughts on.
I can turn up on my mic if that helps.
No, don't worry. I've turned up.
Okay,
it's all good. I've turned you up, big boy. Talk again.
Thank you. Hello.
There we go.
Hello,
I think you're much better now.
Okay.
So, Tommy. Give me your thoughts. You're a livery man. Let me go to the let's go to the side-on view for now. Talk to me about what your thoughts are on the very brand new livery and not at all similar to last year.
Okay, so livery-wise, it is very much the same. They've got rid of the sort of red lines that sort of turned it into a Russian flag on the side. Which I'm wondering if that's to do with obviously all the controversy about how, you're not really meant to have display a Russian flag in a world championship because of the doping ban, which everyone I'm sure will know about and heard on our podcast at the start of last year. And it's a more simplistic version of last year's livery, but looks very similar. And the fact that there's something about all white cars just look backmarker to me.
Yeah.
Don't know about you guys, like what you guys think, but I think we did a post once about every team that sort of goes all white ends up becoming a backmarker team. It's like this weird curse. Like when Williams did it, who else, like Tyrrell and all this kind of stuff. So
but look, we don't know if they're going to be backmarkers this year, Tommy.
Yeah,
they have input so much time, the entirety of the 2021 season, into creating not potentially this beast. Of course, they have called it a livery reveal. We're not expecting to see all the little innovations that they've been working on over the year. That would be very silly, especially with how early they're launching. If they brought out a DAS equivalent or something from last year or whatever.
It is the new car, just for those that are confused by it. It isn't a 20, because they obviously launched that render that was just the bog standard car. This is actually the VF-22. But like you say, there might be a few more like different things. It might have changed since they've done the render. I've heard that might well be the case. But I doubt there's going to be anything revolutionary. Heard it here first. This could age badly and has put on this incredible, triple.
They're going to win the
wing
title
or something. They found a loophole,
yeah.
And there's like 7 front wings on it, and then they win the world title. But yeah, I mean, the front view. The only thing that I feel like is particularly different to the 2022 render of the car that they showed is the side pods, and the side pods look, to me, quite ugly. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, maybe I'll do a poll and see what people think.
Yeah, let's get a poll.
Do you like the new Haas? Yes or no?
Yeah, just a bog standard. Do we like the first 2022 car? of the year, the Haas, which is launching a week earlier than any other car.
You can see why they did it first.
Yeah, they want to be spoken about.
And
they
we
want
are
a
here
whole
speaking about it.
week of us talking about it. It has to be
Yeah.
said, obviously, with the new regulations and the stripping back of aerodynamics, it does look like a lot cleaner, a lot smoother. There's not a lot to it, especially on the side of the car. If we change the angle to there, like, it does look very clean, and hopefully producing clean air. Well, that's if they are actually in front of any other cars that will be suffering from dirty air from behind. But let's see. This is the brand new car, and it's
We said it on the podcast, didn't we? That at the end of the day, we love the launches because we get to see the cars. It's a bit of hype, and sometimes we're disappointed that we don't get new liveries or the car maybe looks a little bit ugly. But at the end of the day, as soon as they're racing, hopefully, as long as it's close and they're easy to pass and that kind of thing, I think a lot of people will be pleased. But for me, the big thing is the side pods are really small compared to that's the biggest thing that stood out to me is the side pods have such a small air intake. I'm no technical expert, as you know, but that to me looks quite ugly from the front. It definitely, to me, it looks uglier than the renders. It doesn't look quite as sleek as the 2022 demo car, if you like, that F1 released, which is maybe unsurprising because Formula One will always want to show the car looking as pretty as possible, and the teams do not care how they look. They just want them too fast. So it's perhaps no surprise that that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, the Alpine, for example, was a great-looking car for the livery, but the actual structure of the car maybe wasn't the nicest with the massive airbox from last year. So, yeah, well, we'll see. This is obviously, if they don't do well this year, they're in big trouble. Frank's now barking because that's what Frank thinks of the new Haas as well.
Frank doesn't like the car.
He doesn't. 63% of you have said that you're not a fan. Which is quite interesting. I don't think it's the worst livery ever made. Tommy was very vocal last year about the Williams livery, but I just love livery season in general because I see all the comments coming in. Some people are like, "Oh, it's just a great livery. It looks really clean, really nice, really slick." Other people are like, "This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen." I just love the arguments as long as they're nice. And look, some cars will fit the bill for some people and not for others. Here's Frank. Frank, what's your thoughts?
Final thoughts, Frank. No, the liveries will always divide people, won't they? It is funny. At the end of the day, it is literally just an opinion, and people love to slate it when it's new, and then sometimes they'll slate it when it's the same, and then they'll change it, and people don't like the new one. But yeah, this it's nice to see a 2022 car. It has got me excited for the season, despite all that. Obviously, we're all a bit like, oh, it looks very similar. No new livery, very similar to the 2022 renders. But I am excited because this is the start of launch season. And, before we know it, we'll have Red Bull next and then loads more cars.
Yeah, 1 week to go till Red Bull. Just seeing what some of the comments are saying, because there are a lot flying in at the moment. Horrible. Mick deserves better. It is the same thing, says Azam. 5 out of 10, says Fox Pon. The model is interesting, not the FIA car. Livery so boring, even the dog is yawning, says Tristan.
He just yawns everything.
People are asking if there's DRS.
Yeah. I think... one of the most confusing things is how we've not really seen DRS, and they are meant to have DRS, these new cars, but it does look strange because you kind of can't envision how it would look because from renders, they don't really show the mechanism. So that's one thing that'd be interesting to see.
That is very true.
When we actually see a real car and see that actually working, because...
Obviously, it's a brand new rear wing as well, isn't it? Completely different to what we've seen. It's a rolled tip rear wing. It's not the boxy rear wings of the past, and clearly the mechanism's going to have changed with that as well. So, yeah, I do wonder what they're going to do and how they're going to implement DRS, because with that you think, well, how is it opening? Like where does the I guess maybe the top view shows a little bit more as to maybe where the mechanism is, but it is quite difficult to. Oh yeah, thank you, Frank. Frank getting involved there, Frank the dog. But yeah, welcome everybody to this first F1 car review. There's a lot of comments coming in at the moment. Just trying to see if there are any questions that are actually. Oh, now the doorbell's going as well. I'm going to have to absolutely ignore that one. Actually, no, Tommy, you carry on. Talk about the livery a bit, and I'll have to quickly get this 1 second.
Someone's asked actually about the side pods. I wonder if I can do a very quick Photoshop of them side by side that we can put together. If everyone, this is clearly extremely entertaining of me doing a Photoshop, but yeah, I'd love to know what it's not gone down particularly well for the comments. Yeah, a lot of people rating out of 10, so let us know what you think.
Yeah, I want to see numbers. Yeah, I want to see numbers in those comments right now. Let's see what 64% of you think no, in terms of if you like it or not. So I'm not expecting the highest of numbers ever, but there are 36% of you that think it's not too bad. What would you rate it, Tommy? Tell me right now. What would you rate it as a livery?
Good. As a livery?
As a livery, yeah.
It's worse than last year because it's not got... I quite liked last year's despite all the hate for it, but it's not as exciting. They've stripped it back a lot. Livery, I would give it a 5 out of 10. And the actual car look itself gets also a 5 out of 10. I think it's just very middle of the road. Yeah. It's just not. Yeah. It's very hard to like. It's not like a whoa, is it?
It's very clear that Uralkali, is that how you pronounce it, have a huge say and input into the actual car look itself. Because you would think if Haas, trying to almost forget the last few seasons and start afresh, you would think maybe there would be an element of difference to the car, but we haven't really seen that, and it's a shame, really, because you would think like new era, new chapter for Haas, but it's I mean, look, it's not the worst livery we've ever seen, but it's not striking at all either. It's a plainly white car, so there's not a huge amount of sponsors on there either, is there? Which I guess again,
it looks very bad. I'm sending you an email, by the way, of the.
Oh, you're sending me an email. I don't check my emails during the live stream.
As soon as I said that, I heard myself in Toto Wolff's voice. I'm sending you an email of the two cut is very badly done because I'm rushing to get it sorted for you guys, but the two cars side by side.
Yeah, pass it over. We'll stick it up.
Actually, yeah, one thing that now looking at side by side, the rear wing is a lot flatter. When you download this and put it, I think you'll be surprised as well. The rear wing is a lot flatter than the pictures maybe suggested.
Okay, all right. So
maybe
yeah, you weren't lying. You weren't lying. This picture is terrible.
Yeah. Tell me you're rushing without telling me you're rushing. Yeah.
Let me get this image up, and
if you get that in the chat, we can see the sort of side by side. And yeah, for me, it's the side pods. The nose is as expected. The front wing's got the kind of mustache look, which we kind of expected.
Right, I've got it up on screen now.
But the side pods, for me, like look how wide it looks. But then the side pods, like the actual air intake of the side pods.
So just explain what we're seeing on the screen here, Tommy.
So on the left is the like F1's render of a 2022 car and how they thought it was going to look. And then on the right is the actual Haas render. And as you can see, the two side pods, the actual air intake part of the side pod is smaller, really small. That's very noticeable.
The rear wing as well, look in the way in which it looks a lot skinnier and a lot higher, flatter, if anything, as well.
It's just flat. Like the
left one looks a lot higher, a lot skinnier. Whereas they've kind of spread it out a little bit on the their actual livery reveal, Haas. But I think one of the reasons to change.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons as well it maybe looks so surprisingly similar to the car for me is the rear wing was the big thing that stood out, and their one is really wavy. The F1 did on a render, and this Haas one doesn't look that.
Looks pretty straight, doesn't it? The bottom part of the rear
really
wing,
similar to last year's wing. Like I would not think that was a new wing if I just sort of glimpsed at it until you see the actual parts on the side. You can't really tell.
I wonder if we'll see large variations in that rear wing depending on the track we go to as well. You know, the lower downforce and higher downforce tracks, whether that will then be a lot skinnier like we see on the left-hand side. We don't know. But it just, the left one for me looks a lot more aggressive. It looks a lot more like, I don't know, like the design of it looks a lot more,
I love it.
Yeah, innovative. Whereas the one on the right does seem very safe. But look, we are judging on a livery reveal as much as it is, yes, the brand new Haas. I don't think that's going to be the Haas we see. I mean, they cannot have. Do you think that's genuinely the Haas
I think
we're going to see?
The basic shape, yeah. Okay. Most of it, I think we will.
You're a sucker for believing teams. Okay, fair enough. No worries. This is
their
project that they've kept in secret for well over a year.
Yes, I'm sure everyone is copying Haas right now.
They might be.
I mean, if it does, if
that
ages badly,
we don't know who to
it's
copy.
Exciting.
We don't know who to copy, do we?
Mercedes. But yeah, if you're sensible. It's for me, it's not particularly surprising that we said it at the end of the last podcast we did, where I think Katie was saying she really doesn't like the look of the 2022 cars, and this was the renders, so that one on the left. I love them. I think they look really cool, really sleek. They're definitely not as nice in real life when a team has essentially made it as they want to. In my opinion, yeah, you're right. Like the one on the left looks aggressive. You know, it's nicely shaped. You can tell it's shaped by F1 to basically get fans to think, oh yeah, I like these new cars. It's going
to be different.
Whereas if they released that the Haas version.
It genuinely looks very 2021, doesn't it? That's what it is. Like
it's not as big as Evolution as I thought. It really, really doesn't.
Obviously, we've got the bigger wheels, the wheel covers, the wheel winglets, and generally a change in the aerodynamics. But like side on, if we just look at the side on, you'd be forgiven for thinking that that's a 21 car if you didn't see the wheel covers. Like,
I know.
It's quite. It's
mind-boggling. I mean, I just put a meme out that's like on Twitter of the top two, the top image of last year's Haas and this year's Haas, and joked that it's going to be the biggest shakeup in history, and here's the shakeup, and it looks extremely similar, especially with the very similar. So yeah.
And so obviously we didn't see any memes on the wheel covers, as we mentioned at the top of the show. Welcome everybody, by the way, who's joining. It's a pleasure to have you along. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We are very nearly 1 million subscribers, so we'd really like it if you subscribe. But yes, we've got lots of content coming up for the 2022 season. And this feels, Tommy, like the first time that we're not in off-season. Like we're finally into pre-season. And
it feels real now, doesn't it?
Oh, it feels great. It feels fantastic. We're back. And now we have to wait a week until Red Bull, but we're still very much excited. Are we excited, everybody, for the new season? I want to change the poll. Can you change the poll for me, Tommy? Would that be great? Has the hype started to build? I know there are a lot of people still.
Poll.
62% say that Haas livery isn't great. I know a lot of people are still probably recovering from Abu Dhabi, and some people feel that, the sport very much was impacted then. But I am interested to know if people are starting to look forward to the new season now that we've seen the first new car. I think if, just looking at how bare that car is, it just shows how much those sponsors on there carry this team. And will Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin be able to do something?
Be interesting to see, like, we're used to maybe the back markers having a bit more of a basic car, but if Red Bull launch something that looks quite similar, I think it's gonna prove that they really can't do much to them.
That's a good point, actually. Do you think that I know we're looking at Haas, and you're saying that maybe this isn't actually too far away from what we'll see in testing. Do you think we'll see the same with Red Bull, or do you believe that the top teams decide to hide more than the lower teams?
I wouldn't be surprised if, Red Bull. I mean, with this, it's the kind of thing where like they'll render it so you get the basic shape of it, and then I'm sure Red Bull might turn up with I can't pretend I'm an aerodynamicist and I've read the 2022 rules and know what you can and can't do.
What, Tommy?
I know, how dare
What do we pay you for?
But
you're leaning out of shot, by the way, Tommy.
Like,
you're very casual.
Oh, sorry. The way that like maybe there's little winglets on, I don't know, the wheel covers or something like that, that I'm sure that's the thing that they'll miss out from the renders, and then we'll see. Then we'll see. When we get to testing, then the teams will go, oh wow, they've put a slot here or a little extra bit there, which wouldn't be in the renders. But in terms of like the car shape and the main philosophy, I feel like what teams do will probably look there to a point.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, teams aren't going to like if Red Bull have massive side pods, Haas aren't going to be able to change the entire car. It's the little details and stuff.
Yeah, the small intrinsic stuff that they hide, especially under the floor and things like that we can't see. I've just put the comparison back on screen, and I just thought that if people tune in, I genuinely think people would believe the left one is what Haas have revealed, and the right one is last year's car.
The last year's car, yeah.
In some ways. But that is not the case. The right one is, in fact, what Haas have launched.
I've not been on Twitter yet, but I wonder how many of the corporate needs to... tell you the difference in these two pictures.
Many memes about.
There's going to be many of them. I imagine many people have done that. I should have put that on the car launch bingo, shouldn't I?
You really should have. People are asking about DRS again. We have already spoken about this, but I guess for people joining, we expect DRS to be there. It's obviously a completely new mechanism that's going to be happening with the roll tip rear wings in terms of how they implement it. So, DRS, as far as we're aware, is very much going to be a part of the 2022 season. And I think they will then judge as to whether or not the cars can actually overtake, pass, and also just follow each other, as to whether or not the DRS will then continue into 23. I think that's probably what Formula One are looking at, because ideally we get rid of DRS and everyone just races on a level playing field. But
I love people that just like explain DRS in terms of
DRS is the drag reduction system.
I'm assuming they mean the actual mechanism, because I'm looking at these renders and I keep seeing this from the 2022 car, and we actually saw a when we went to Mercedes, they had a show car that was just painted in black that a lot of the teams have to take pictures and stuff. And you look at the rear wing, and because it is almost like one flowing element, it's hard to imagine like how the wing pops up, if that makes sense, because it's kind of curved at the end, not like your traditional F1 wing where you've got two flat bits and a flat bit on the top. So I'm actually, it's going to be quite interesting for the first time to see
how they do it. Especially on this side-on angle, there is no bolts to move. Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's like one part almost, like one flowing piece. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I'm surprised that like F1 themselves or whatever, I'm sure they'll do it at some point, but show what it looks like, because that's going to be quite interesting to see.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting.
92% are hyped for 2022.
92%. See that, and that's the beauty of YouTube polls, because if you get on Twitter, you'd probably think it was about 50-50. The fact that 92% have said that they're hyped for the new season, it's obviously quite encouraging. And it's a render, guys, not the real car, says Samuel. I don't think that's quite the case, but I mean, it's obviously this isn't the real. This isn't actually it. It's the render of it, car. But it's still their car. This is what they would have in their simulations. So. I'm definitely sure Haas doesn't have a physical car ready yet, which is why it's an online event. Well, I'm not surprised. If it's the 2nd of February, they probably wanted to launch first. They had the render. They probably can't afford or want to do an actual online event. They haven't done one, I don't think, have they, really. Not that I can remember anyway. They usually launch at testing, from what I remember.
Although they did that one year where it was Rich Energy, they launched at some
Rich
fancy.
Energy. We'll forget about that. But since Rich Energy have gone, they very much just go with the asset drop. Someone said side pods look weird. I think we agree on that one.
Very.
But yeah, so Tommy, I think that pretty much sums it up. What's your final thoughts on this first 2022 F1 car that we've seen?
My final thoughts are, I hope some of the other teams have gone for more sleek looking things, because I definitely love the 2022 look less seeing this Haas. It's not flat out hideous where I'm like, when we had the slightly phallic noses from 2014 or the step noses from 2012. It's not as shocking as that, or even the change when we went to the skinny wings and stuff. But for me, definitely not as beautiful looking as the renders that we were said it was going to look like. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really a surprise, is it?
No, it's not a surprise. And look, we've got 9 more car reveals to go, and plenty of cars I'm sure that we will be more surprised about, especially at least on the livery side, if not the car as well, because we have got some exciting ones to come. Alpine, Aston Martin, I think it's going to be an exciting one to see if they've gone for a more vibrant green, and lots of other things. So everybody, please do subscribe. Leave a like on this live stream as well if you've enjoyed it, and if you want to see more of these, we will be doing more car reveal live reactions. And leave a like, subscribe if you are new. And my final thoughts are, a bit underwhelming. I think that's probably about where we're at with this. But look, we got a week and Red Bull, I'm sure, will up their game and launch exactly the same livery as they have done for the last 8 years or whatever it is. But Tommy will always say it's beautiful. Why would you change something that isn't broken? Fair enough. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you in a week's time for the Red Bull car reveal. Livery reveal, whatever they want to call it, reveal.
Whatever
render reveal.
Render reel, maybe something. Cool.
Right, guys, thank you so much.